Hi, it's Eleanor, and recently I shared with you the books that I got in the run up to Christmas. So today I thought I'd share with you the books which I've got kind of after Christmas, whether they're gifts from friends or I bought them myself. So the first books that I got were from my friend. We basically did a book exchange, and I'll link her YouTube and everything down below. So she got me, to start with, Anna and the French Kiss, and I know this is one of her favourite books and she's been wanting me to read it for ages. So this is about a young girl called Anna who basically has a perfect life, or a pretty good life, and gets sent all the way to Paris. I assume she's American. And then there she can't speak any French, and there's a cute boy upstairs and romance ensues, I expect. It just looks really, really fun and something different, because I don't really tend to read kind of these sorts of romances these days, so I think it'd be nice to get back into them. And she also got me Billy and Me by Giovanna Fletcher. So this is about this girl called Sophie, and she falls in love with this guy called Billy, but Billy's famous, or becomes famous, and it's just kind of about this whirlwind life that they've kind of fallen into with him being famous and her being the girlfriend sort of thing. I've heard of it before, and I've been kind of interested about it, but I've never picked it up, so again, I'm definitely going to check this out for her and see how it is. My friend was so cute because she wrote me a before reading little note, and then a after reading little note, which was so cute of her, and I'm hoping to do a review of either one of these once I finish them. The next book has a story behind it. So for the last 2 years in my English class, because we're quite a small class, we've been doing Secret Santa, but with a twist. So it's a book Secret Santa, obviously, but the kind of rules are that you have to get them from the charity shop, so no one feels like they have to spend loads, it's just like a few quid. And this year my friend got me A God in Ruins by Kate Atkinson. I've heard this book before, and I've been kind of meaning to pick it up for a while, so the fact that she got it is really, really good. So it's about this man called Teddy Todd, and he's you know, all of these things. He's a poet, a would-be poet, a World War II veteran, bomber pilot, husband, father and grandfather, and it's just kind of about his life and how he's navigating the 20th century. It looks really, really interesting. I know my mum's a fan of Kate Atkinson, but she hasn't read this, so, you know, hopefully it'll be really, really good. As part of my friend's friendship group, Secret Santa, my friend got me a book on cats. It's kind of part of the Ladybird book series, and inside it's basically kind of, that's not a cat, it's like a story to do with cat. There's a cat. It just looks really cute and funny and just, you know, nice coffee table sort of book. It looks good, yeah. My lovely sister got me a couple of books for Christmas. She got me Neil Gaiman's American Gods. I've mentioned Neil Gaiman quite a lot on my YouTube channel because I love him to pieces. He's one of my favourite authors. I read American Gods a few years ago, but I have wanted to read it again, and I never had my own copy. I got it from the library. And especially because there's the new series of American Gods on Amazon Prime coming out soon, so I kind of want to reread it before I watch that. It's such a good book. This is Neil Gaiman's preferred edition, which is a lot longer than the original one, so I just love it. And also the design, cover design, even though they're not series, matches Trigger Warning by him, which I got, which is a group of short stories. And it's just kind of having this similar cover just makes me really happy. Even if they're not a series, they look really similar. My other Neil Gaiman books aren't like these, but these are my newer ones. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to finally own a copy of it and reread it. My sister also got me a copy of Hagseed by Margaret Atwood. Like I said in a few videos ago, I've read The Peloponnesiad by Margaret Atwood, which was okay. I thought it was interesting to see her take on Penelope from the Odyssey, Homer's Odyssey. I have Handmaid's Tale, which I've yet to read, but this book is one of her new book. It's basically a retelling of The Tempest by Shakespeare, but in like a play. So obviously The Tempest is a play, but it's about this man who's a stage director, and he's putting on The Tempest, but instead something else happens and his life goes a different direction, and so his life, I think, acts out, you know, he becomes part of The Tempest itself, the play itself. I don't know The Tempest very well. I'm not studying it, but my friend is. So it'd be really interesting to see Margaret Atwood's take on it, maybe read The Tempest as well, kind of just compare them. So I'm really looking forward to this. So moving on to the books which I brought myself, the first book that I got is Z by, well, Zayn, basically Zayn's autobiography. It's filled with kind of never before seen pictures, and it's just documenting his life, kind of, and the hectic rise to fame which he's had, and it just looks really interesting to see find out more about him through this, and it's very arty. It's got lovely photographs. Hang on, like, yeah, it just looks really like a nice book. The main reason I got it, well, what prompted me to buy it rather than later, was because it was half price at Waterstones. But yeah, it's really nice. I also popped into Oxfam and got 4 books. The first one I got is Dreams of May by Sue Guinea. I think that's how you say her name. And it's like poetry and a play. It looks really intriguing. So it tells, it's lots and lots of poems, a collection of poems, and it tells the story, that like chronological, and it tells the story of this woman on a train. But when the first thing you read, it says kind of characters and then set, and then it has stage directions in between each poems, and it just looks really intriguing and different to what I've ever read, both poem and play-wise. I also got Dr. Faustus by Marlowe, Christopher Marlowe. He was a contemporary Shakespeare. I've read this before. I read it 2 summers back, and I really enjoyed it, but I never had my own copy. And I think it's just such an interesting play. So it's about basically this man, Faustus, who sells his soul to the devil. And kind of the repercussions of that, and it's so interesting. But what really drew me to this copy especially was that inside, this is why I love getting books at charity shops, inside there was a piece of paper, and it's basically Notes for Reading Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe, Out of Darkness, March 2003. So this person's typed up all these notes on tips and tricks for reading it, and kind of things to think about, and I just think that's so lovely. And you know, someone used this piece of paper when they were reading it last, and now it's passed down to me, and I think it makes this book special, if that makes sense. Keeping in with the theme of plays, I also got King Lear by Shakespeare. I haven't read King Lear before, and I've always been intrigued with it because I don't know much about it, but we were discussing it the other day, well, the other month really, in English, and it just sounds really interesting. And what's good about it is that it matches, it's the same edition as my Julius Caesar. And last but not least, I picked up The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. I don't know. I'm sure like lots of people, especially in America, have read this as part of their syllabus. I obviously have not. I have seen the film Easy A, on the other hand, which is where I first heard of it. It's basically about this woman who was an adulteress, and so she had a red A marked on all of her clothes, I think. And it just like society's perceptions of women who kind of embrace their sexuality and all sorts. It's just really interesting. So hopefully it should be quite a slow read, I reckon, but overall quite good. So those were the books which I got over Christmas, kind of gifts or buying myself. Let me know if you've read any of them or have certain thoughts on some of them, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.